All right, let's talk about something we've all been prompted to do, and maybe something we've all put off doing, writing an online review. Today, we're going to get into some really cool research that looks at how AI could totally flip the script on this, turning a simple spoken thought into a genuinely valuable, high-quality review.
You know the feeling, right? You just had an amazing dinner, or maybe a really terrible one. Your phone dings, asking for a review. You tap it open, you stare at that blinking cursor in the empty text box, and nothing. It suddenly feels like homework. You want to be helpful, sure, but trying to find the right words, the right details, it's surprisingly tough. And that exact problem is what this research is trying to solve.
Okay, so what exactly is this dilemma? Well, at its core, it's pretty simple. It's a clash between our desire to share useful info and the reality that, well, we're busy. Writing a good review, the kind we actually find helpful ourselves, takes real work.
I mean, think about what makes a review actually useful to you. It's not just a star rating. We look for reviews that have details, that are fair, that are actually easy to read, and they need to have some real emotion behind them, right? Hitting all those points, especially when you're just trying to tap something out on your phone, is a really, really high bar. So that's the big problem, right? This friction. The effort it takes to write a great review is often what stops us from writing one at all. But what if you could just skip the whole typing part? What if you could just talk and let technology handle the heavy lifting? This is the central idea we're digging into. To put this idea to the test, researchers went ahead and built an app to run a fascinating experiment. But they didn't just build one version. Oh no, they created two, setting up a kind of showdown between a simple voice-to-text tool and another version supercharged with an LLM, a large language model. The app was called Vocalizer, and its purpose was beautifully simple. Let people create restaurant reviews just by talking. No typing, no agonizing over spelling or grammar. You just hit record and talk about your meal, almost like you're leaving a voicemail for a friend. So the experiment had two flavors. The first, the voice-only version, or VOV, was pretty basic. You speak, it types what you say, and then it's all on you to edit it. But the second version, the LLM-assisted one, or LAV, now that one was smart. It would automatically clean up the raw transcription, getting rid of all the ums and uhs, and then let you polish it with simple commands, things like, make this sound more excited. The big question was, would all that fancy AI help actually make a real difference?
Well, it turns out the answer was a huge, resounding yes. It made a massive difference. When all the data came in, there was a very clear winner. And not just in the quality of the reviews themselves, but in how people felt about what they'd created.
The first obvious win was confidence. Look at this. When asked if they'd be willing to post the review online for everyone to see, the users with the basic voice-only app were kind of hesitant. But the group using the AI-assisted version, they were way more confident. They felt like their AI-polished reviews were actually ready for prime time. And were they happy with what they made? Oh yeah. A staggering 83% of the people using the AI version were either extremely or very satisfied with their final review. The AI wasn't just churning out text, it was helping create reviews that people were genuinely proud to put their name on. Okay, but this is where the story gets really, really compelling. Because making better reviews is one thing, but the study found something much deeper, something way more personal. It actually changed how people saw their own abilities.
And here it is. This is probably the most powerful number from the entire study. Before this all started, people rated their own confidence in writing a good review at less than 5 out of 10. Pretty low. But after using the AI tool to help them, that number shot up to a 9 out of 10. The AI didn't just write for them. It made them feel like they were better writers. It gave them a massive confidence boost.
So people felt like they had this new writing superpower. But what were they actually doing with it? Well, the researchers looked at the kinds of instructions users gave the AI, and it tells you a lot about what people really want from a writing assistant. So they analyzed every prompt, and a really clear pattern popped out. Just look at that top line, add details. By a huge margin, the number one thing people wanted was for the AI to help them make their reviews richer and more informative. They weren't just fixing commas, they were collaborating with the AI to make something more useful for others. They were turning simple thoughts into the kind of detailed reviews they always wanted to write, but never felt they had the time or energy for. Let's look at a real example to see how this worked. So here's a totally fine, but pretty basic thought that a user spoke into the app. It gets the job done, but it doesn't really have much flavor.
Then the user gave the AI a simple conversational command. No code, no complicated instructions, just make it sound more excited. And that's the magic right there. It feels human.
And boom, look at the result. The AI took that simple feeling and injected it right into the text, adding personality and enthusiasm. It perfectly understood the user's intent, turning a flat sentence into something that feels way more authentic and engaging. The AI was acting like a creative partner.
Okay, so let's zoom out. A tool that makes us better, more confident writers sounds incredible. But like with any powerful new technology, this also brings up some really big, complicated questions about what all this means for our future.
And the biggest concern, which actually came from the study participants themselves, was all about authenticity. If an AI polishes our words, rephrases our sentences, and dials up the excitement, at what point does it stop being our voice? Is there a risk that too much editing smooths away the raw, honest, and sometimes messy feelings that make a review feel real?
But then you have this incredibly powerful counter-argument, accessibility. Another person in the study pointed this out. Tools like this could be a total game changer for people who struggle with writing, or for anyone who isn't a native English speaker. It's a tool that could empower millions of people to share their thoughts clearly and confidently, breaking down huge barriers.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This technology is so much bigger than just getting you to review your burger. It's about building tools that boost our own confidence and make communication more open to everyone. It lowers the barrier, not just to writing, but to expression itself, giving more people a chance to be heard.
So we're left with this big question, and there's no easy answer. As AI gets woven more and more into how we create things, we're all going to have to figure out where we draw that line between a helpful assistant and the actual author. If an AI helps you find the perfect words, is it making your voice stronger or is it replacing it? It's definitely something to think about the next time an app asks you for a review.